All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we are interviewing Shannon Gabor. That's Shannon Gabor, last name spelled Gabor. And she is a branding expert. So on today's show, she joins us to teach you Branding 101. And she's the branding expert of choice for Warner Brothers, Starbucks, Netflix, and other companies that you know. Ladies and gentlemen, grab a pen and a pad and prepare to enter the Branding Lab on today's interview with Shannon Gabor.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. We started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom, now we hit.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm a dive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here.
Yes, and yes. See, we are in the air everywhere. It is ecstasy when you are next to me. It is always profound when we are above the ground. And on today's show, we're interviewing a branding expert who has worked with some companies. See, and I'm going to mention some of the companies.
Time out.
Yes.
We're from Oklahoma. We live in teepees. We all have cattle.
We're Oklahomians.
Is this branding like we're branding livestock?
Holy cow!
This whole
Like
show is
branding a
about
cow?
live-stock. Today's expert is livestock
he's a FFA,
expert. Yeah, very countrified.
Future Farmers of America,
I'm going to reveal who
branding
today's guest
experts.
is in just a second. But first of all, pop quiz, Z.
Pop. Okay.
Today's guest, she has worked
Coca-Cola.
with some companies, and you can tell me if you're familiar with these companies for a chance to win a mega point.
Okay, here we go.
She works with this new startup company. They're doing okay, called Starbucks. You ever heard of them?
Is that like was that a sci-fi movie?
You don't get to make a point. Let's try another one. This is a good one. This is a company that's starting
Give
to
me
get some
another chance.
traction.
Give me a chance.
It's catching on. It's a
Okay.
little company called Netflix. You familiar with this one? It's online videos. You can stream them. Oh, no, time's up. You can phone a friend for this next one here.
Okay.
This person works with she's an expert of the branding expert of choice. For this little company called Warner Brothers.
Oh yes, I do know those guys.
Yes.
They lived on the street next to me.
Great
It was
guys.
Bill Warner and Scotty Warner. They were the
Shannon, welcome
brothers.
on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, ma'am?
I am fantastic, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Hey, where are you? What state are you in right now? What city?
I am in sunny California, specifically Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. How was that fireworks display the other night? That was pretty incredible.
Oh my gosh, we've had fireworks like nonstop. Whether you see them or you don't, you hear them nonstop here in LA.
Wow. Well, you are a brave individual. We're in Oklahoma where things are slightly calmer at this point. But I think the listeners want to know. They want to know, how did you become the branding expert for all these huge organizations? I mean, where did you start from? Where did you come from?
Where did I come from? Well, I actually was born closer to you guys. I was born in New York City, but really was raised in New Jersey. So I'm more bridge and tunnel. I'm an East Coaster, so I move fast on the West Coast. Sometimes people don't know how to catch up to me, so that's a good thing. So I would say that my pace has led me to this journey, for sure, maximizing my minutes, and just, I think focused on the creativity of life. So I was born and raised, like I said, on the East Coast, and I like to say that I was born with a crayon in my hand. I was always, I totally always saw myself as an artist, as someone who made things. My mom had a wall of Shannon drawings since I was 4. I would proudly stand in front of them. I have old real photos, not swipe left, right,
Wow.
real photos of me. I know, crazy, right, guys?
Now you're just
Crazy.
bragging.
Circa, early 1970s. And so, I think that I always defined myself as a maker, as a creator, as a craft. And then when I decided, I wanted to make a move, so to speak, I knew that I wanted to study more formally communication arts and design. I actually have a master's of fine arts, but I always was intrigued by the business side of creativity. So went to school at USC and was the blue-haired, skateboarding, nose ring, dicky coveralls wearing girl, skateboarding from one side of the campus. It's a very formal liberal arts school here in LA. And I would go from the sculpture yard full of clay, and I would walk into the Marshall School of Business entrepreneurship class or economics class, and I would stick out like a sore thumb. But for some reason, my heart and my brain, both my left and right side, led me to wanting to explore what does that dot look like between creativity and business. And I believe that that's what I've been doing for about 20 plus years now, is constantly evolving myself to think about that through the lens of branding.
Now, I'm going to ask you in just a moment for some practical branding tips that you could give all of our listeners. But before that, and this is going to come across like I've been a shady man.
No, I can't imagine that.
Andrew, I sent Andrew over to Clever Creative. I sent him over there. With the quarantine, it's a little crazy, I said, Andrew, get in there.
Yeah.
Get me recorded audio. I want to hear what it's like to work there at this agency. I want the audio. I want the hottest audio. And you said, shouldn't we tell Shannon that we're breaking into her office to record her? I said, no, we're not going to do this. This is going to be our gift to her.
Because we want it raw.
Because we want to give her the raw audio. So I'm going to cue the audio. This is Shannon, I believe, with her team. I'll just play 30 seconds of it, 15 seconds of it. Shannon, I'll play it for you, and you can tell us if this is you or if this is not you. Let me cue up the audio here. He
could have gotten to the wrong.
Let me just.
He could have gotten to the
Here
wrong.
it is. Here I got it. Here we go.
For that, I'll take the titanium white and pull it out very flat, and then cut across to get that little roll of paint again. See there? Okay, let's go back up here. Now, think where your light's coming from. You have to start making some big decisions now. If you're right-handed, normally it's easier for the light to come from the right side. Let's go right here. Touch, no pressure. Just the weight of the knife. No pressure.
No pressure.
A lot of pressure. You got to rise above it. You got to harness in the good energy, block out the bad. Harness, energy, block, bad. Feel the flow happen.
What am I blocking?
Feel it. It's circular. It's like a carousel. You pay the quarter, you get on the horse. It goes up and down and around. Circular.
how do I go
circle
with
with the music, the flow, all good things.
So I don't know if that was Dan Golden or what member of your team that was, but is that what you guys do all day?
Wow. Titanium white. That's
All
impressive.
day. All day. I was going to say that's pretty true because, for us, just like Mr. Bob Ross, we have to happy creatives make happy work.
Oh, look at that. She's so
I used to
on
draw
top
those
of
happy
things.
trees. I used to watch that show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love Bob. I figured you did.
I tried a few of those.
Now, okay, but seriously, what would be tips for the listeners out there? We have a lot of listeners that are going to your website right now. They're going to clevercreative.com. They're going there. They own a business. We have a lot of plumbers, a lot of doctors, dentists, people that own their own business, and they're looking for some actionable branding tips. Give us some tips.
Great. So, I think if you look at branding's a heavy word these days. Every person's using it. I don't think everyone knows what it really means. I think to some individuals, with no disrespect, branding is a logo. But the reality is branding is your handshake in a room when you're not there. It is truly the reflection and perception that people have of your business or service or product when you're not able to speak about it. So if you think about that power of who are you giving that voice to? Yeah, it's going to mean your logo mark, your color, and all the creativity that goes into expressing your brand. But it's also going to be the non-visual tools as well. So we look at branding at Clever Creative as an opportunity to think of it from both the verbal and non-verbal ways your brand says hello. And I think that allows people to recognize that it has to be human. And when you can really capture that, gentlemen, that's when it starts to sing. And people remember it, and people call upon it because it stands for all the pillars of your brand: trust, integrity, whimsy, laughter, humor, kindness. Whatever those are what it should inevitably communicate in all pieces of your brand. So for us, there's 6 points of branding. We believe that successful brand has to work on all 6 points to build harmony. The first one is brand value. It's how your brand adds value to your business. Brand foundation. What do you stand for? Your brand voice. How you speak. Your brand identity. How you show up in the world. Your brand connection. How you create meaningful connections. And ultimately, the brand work goes into what we typically call for our clients a toolkit or a brand guide. And that is how you execute. Because typically once you build your brand or refine your brand, you're handing it off to people, whether it's an internal person on your team, yourself if you're an entrepreneur, or perhaps an extended team like your PR team or your social media teams. And those people need to be the extension of your voice of your brand to make sure that it is consistent, clear, and genuine.
Consistent,
Clear.
and genuine. I want to let that sink in for a second. So, can you think of one of your clients, and I know you've worked with a lot of great clients. Can you think of a client where you say, that right there is an example of good branding that's being executed by a company that produces great products and services? Because obviously if you have great branding but you can't deliver on the product or the service, some would argue that the product and service is part of the brand. All this has to work together. But can you think of one of your clients that you could maybe brag on, that all of our listeners could go check out their website or go look at them?
Yeah, I think a brand that has done it phenomenally was a brand that trusted Clever about 2 years ago to take their product called Power Crunch. It's a protein bar, but it's more than that. And the founder here is based out of Los Angeles. He's a phenomenal man who had a very genuine story to tell, and your listeners can learn more about it on powercrunch.com, on their website, under their history. And he had a really personal passion place to develop this product into a new format. And he was a bodybuilder for a while, and he utilized this specific type of hydrolyzed whey for his own training and his performance. He then, and I don't want to take away his story, you can read it in all of its glory, but there was a moment in time where he had a newborn, his son, and needed to actually help that child develop. And I'm going to leave it at that as a cliffhanger. And so he had a passion place to developing this product. It came from a genuine personal need, which I think is beautiful when you can take a brand and be trusted with it to tell its story beyond the walls of the home into the walls of a retailer. And they had a great product. Like I said, it's a Power Crunch bar. It's a lightweight, very flaky, delicious. It tastes like a Kit Kat, but it's better for you, Kit Kat. And that product was having a little challenge getting to be noticed in some retailers as not just a nutritional bar, but rather it's a perfect healthy snack. So Clever Creative came in and worked with Power Crunch from a strategic positioning first to really help them start to communicate through their sales teams and all the initiatives from the buyer's perspective, very business, very B2B starting point. How can we communicate this amazing product that has great efficacy and solves hunger, but it's also good for you and it's got great ingredients? How can we just let more people know about it so that they can start to buy it? And so we started to help them crack the code, so to speak, or codify, we like to say at Clever, and really say, okay, this is a great product for healthy habituals, the young, different generations, dare I say millennials, who are going from gym to car to, happy hour. This is a great product that they could have as an in-between meal. Not a meal replacement, but an in-between snack. And then for the busy moms, we called them time crunch moms, or time crunch parents, to be better, like myself. It's a great snack to put in your kid's lunchbox. It's totally healthy and appropriate for that. And just by helping them reposition that, giving them a new tagline, elevate the everyday, as well as a new brand mark and packaging design, our efforts combined with their incredible internal team's efforts really helped them reposition the brand. And Power Crunch became not just a fitness product, but it became a household go-to. And and it's a really successful project for us. And I know that Kevin, who's the founder, was pleased as well. And, I think it's a perfect testament of if you can align your clients to tell you what their values are and what value you can bring as a branding agency, that's the secret sauce. Because then magic happens.
Now, you're making magic, but now we're going to move into the lightning round where we're going to try to make some audio magic here. Some audio. So see, it's lightning round.
Okay.
And the way this goes is we're going to ask some tough questions fast.
Tough.
So you're going to ask a question. I'm going to ask a question. Dr. Artis will ask a question. Andrew will ask a question. We're going to try to get through, if we can do it, 7 questions in 7 minutes.
Ooh, let's do it. Go.
So here we go.
Oh,
Question number 1.
Okay.
How did you get your first 10 customers for your company?
A Rolodex. Isn't that crazy? I called people I knew. They were big places, big offices in the corner, and they trusted me, and they said, I'll give you a small project, and it turned into more and more and more.
So, wow, Rolodex. Z, Rolodex Technology, what's your question?
Okay, it's a 3-part question.
3-part.
First part,
wow.
Is your hair still blue? Do you still own Little Dickies outfits? And number 3, if you could go back 20 years in time, what would you tell yourself?
Wow, a lot of questions.
A lot of questions.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yes.
I'm lightning, guys. I'm fast. I'm
Here we
from
go.
Jersey.
Come on.
So no blue hair. It's
Okay.
now California Sunny Blonde.
Perfect.
I have to have my hair match my environment. Secondly, yes, I own Dickie coveralls, but they're overalls now, a little more fashionable.
Ooh,
And
nice.
Three, I would tell my younger self that other people's opinions of you are none of your business.
Wow, Dr. Artis, we have a branding expert. This woman has done work with big companies. We're talking about massive, massive companies, folks. Warner Brothers, okay, folks. We're talking about Netflix. We're talking about Starbucks. You can ask the branding wizard anything you want to ask. What question do you have there, sir?
My first question would be, I'm sure Warner Brothers and Starbucks can afford you, but can startups afford you?
Whoa.
Oh.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, for us, we want to do work that's impactful and that matters. So for us, sometimes clients come to us with zero. Some people come with cash equity. Some people come with variations of creative ways of, using our services. For us, it really comes down to making sure that the work that we're doing has the right chemistry. So it's more about the client. It is obviously, of course, about keeping the lights on and keeping our team growing. But at the same time, it's about helping brands that may not have access to branding as some of our other clients do. So we want to be, an agency that can offer those services across the board to all stages, from startup to growth to pivots to Fortune 500.
Can we pay you? Do you take mega points as a form of payment?
This is a mega point.
Do you take those?
audio of sound effects as for a form of payment?
Maybe. Well, I'll have to consider it. We'll think about it. We'll circle back.
Okay, that's something to.
Well, at least she's considering.
That feels good. Let me just take a moment to.
I feel like
let me take a moment.
I feel like it's a victory for America right there.
Andrew, let me take a moment. That was
so good.
She said she might.
She's circling back around.
She did not say
which
no.
wasn't a no.
Wasn't
by
a
the
no.
way.
Offer her
So you're
overall.
saying I've got a chance? That's so good.
Andrew, you have a chance to ask the branding wizard a question. Any question you want to ask the branding wizard. You work with a lot of great clients who own businesses. What question would you have for the branding wizard?
Oh, yeah. So I know there's a lot of people out there who don't want to spend money on their brand, but I'm curious, how much, in your opinion, are you seeing people lose when they have a bad brand? So when their brand is bad, how much money are they actually losing out on?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think people automatically, depending if it's a product or a business, you assume that your customer is the only person you're losing business to. But the reality is branding is also a tool for top-tier talent and recruitment. If your company has great branding, solid, clear values, mission, vision, great culture, as well as obviously an aesthetic that's appealing and aligning with a certain talent, that's a huge opportunity and a missed opportunity if you don't have those in place. So it's not just an external, bad investment of maybe losing market share or opportunities for business, but it's an internal challenge if you don't have solid branding, because it could be, it could make the difference between an A+ hire and a C-.
Right. You want the cool kids. You got to be cool. Right? There you go.
Not just cool. You got to be clear. You got to be clear. You got to be real. You got to be human. You want people to come on board to your team when you're using your own branding to recruit. You want to make sure that not only I don't want to say cool kids, but I want to say you got the genuine folks who are there with you in the trenches, in every boardroom, in every conference room, on every plane, kind of sharing your message and promoting your brand or product as if it's their own. And that is a byproduct of really solid investment to the foundation of what you stand for.
I have 2 questions here as we move into question 5 and 6 here. Z, you get the final question here,
Sure.
okay?
Yes.
Shannon, this is a dark topic, a sensitive topic.
No, don't go there.
I don't have to because I feel
It's been such a great, fun interview.
And so I always want to keep it. I want to keep it just between you and me and the millions of listeners. So we'll just keep it kind of private, inside voice. Here. I have a friend of mine, good friend, and true story. He has an email address that is regrettable and old school.
Yes.
So, like, when you email him today, and this isn't the email address, but it's something to the effect of, like, Big Weasel 69 at AOL.com.
AOL.
You know, something like that. Or Big Weasel 74 at Yahoo, but he has a company, and his branding is less than great. And he works off of word of mouth. And I've been trying to point out to him, because he asks me, he's not a client, but he'll ask me like, hey, what branding tips should I change? I said, one, your email, which involves a joke from your high school years, needs to be changed to maybe a branded email. We start there. And then you don't need to name your company. Like, he has a brand where he does it. So it's like, this is not the name of his company, but it's like Doug's Landscaping, LLC. He insists on putting that on everything. Could you speak to having a cheese ball email that's not branded, and maybe why putting LLC on everything is not the move?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I think regardless of what it is, it's about good branding adds value to your business. So it's also perception, as I said a little earlier, right? So it's what do you want to be known for, and what do you not want to be known for? At the end of the day, every business, especially these days, we are a small business, Clever Creative, despite our large client list. We are a women-founded, bootstrapped agency of 15 years.
Wow.
Very proud of that. And, started the company with $3,800, literally, my last paycheck from Mattel. And, when you leave that moment in time and you're like leaving stability and a paycheck for the unknown, you have to believe in what you're selling. And, I personally feel like that's no different than asking Big Weasel, whether or not that's the way he or she wants to be perceived. And I think it's about knowing your value and making sure that what you do and the passion of your craft isn't being humorous and not appreciated or devalued, is what I would say. And that could make a different impression on someone, and he could be losing opportunity with maybe a particular audience that doesn't find it professional or humorous.
And so far, I've yet to meet a person who appreciates the humor of his email. And we've talked about this at great length, and I'm like, seriously, what is that? He's like, I just have had it since high school. I'm like, we know.
Yeah.
We're aware of this. It's just so weird. Okay, Dr. Z, your chance to ask a final question. I encourage all the listeners, check out clevercreative.com, clevercreative.com. Final 30 seconds. Z, what's your final question for Shannon?
Shannon, I watched the show, the series Mad Men. Did you ever watch that?
I did.
Isn't that awesome? Back in the day. So do you guys still have little carts of alcohol you kind of push around and to each other's rooms?
Is that part of it?
Is that part of it?
We do it Clever. We have a bar cart. Yeah, we have a bar cart.
Oh, perfect.
Absolutely.
I love that. Okay, good. Because I love Mad Men. I love 30-something. I love the everybody sitting around in their war room thinking of things. So now your catchphrase for this company was elevate the everyday.
Every day.
So walk us through the process. I mean, you guys went in a war room. You're a bunch of chicks. You got your little beverage cart. You guys are you got a whiteboard.
Not surrounded by idiot dudes. Smart women. So everywhere.
Walk us through how you come up with that. What do you do?
We have men too. We have smart men and women.
Is that possible?
Wow.
You found smart men?
Oh my gosh, smart men. Where do you find them?
Where
wow.
Where are these people?
There is such a thing. Wow. Okay, so walk us through how you did that. What was the process, just for the fun of it, just for all of us out there kind of watching vicariously through, your creative company. And so how did you come up with that? What was the deal?
Yeah, I mean, elevate the everyday. Great question. Thank you. Elevate the everyday came actually from the product itself. So sometimes when you're creating a tagline for a business, you don't have to go very far. So here they have this incredible brand, Power Crunch, and a product that we ate a lot of it. I'm not going to lie. We tried all the flavors of it. And when we realized when we were sampling the product and trying to find what is that line that's going to make someone remember the product or go out and buy it again, it reminded us of when you snap this bar, and you guys should go get one. They're available at Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. I should be pitching Power Crunch today. But when we snapped the bar, it actually had a sound. We learned how it was made. They have very proprietary ways to get that bar coated with the chocolate or the other flavors. And when we snapped it and we ate it, it felt light. And that was the basic principle of the recipe. It was a very light, it's the easiest, and I might be misquoting it a little bit, but hydrolyzed whey is one of the lightest proteins for your stomach to digest. So knowing that, we knew it was lightweight, and when you eat it, it tastes like a Kit Kat. It's got airiness to the crunch. So we started to realize that, paired with, we want this brand to be aspirational. We want people to feel like they're owning their day. It has some sunshine. It's got a smile in it and some joy. This is not a heavy-handed product that's trying to make people change the world. But we thought, you know what? If you can elevate your everyday and you can enjoy this lightweight, delicious protein bar as a healthy snack, then that's a major win. And so we went through a lot of iterations of rapid prototyping of different taglines. We start with a word, and then we suss it out. We try to, find another word. And as we start to kind of craft the nuances of the simplest thing between thes and us and ands, and it's an art form. It is a true art form to figure out how can you succinctly, with 3 to 5 words, how can you capture what that product very well will make you feel and what that experience is.
I tell you what, you're blowing the minds of our listeners out there. So I'll give you the final word there. What's one thing you want to share with all the listeners we have from coast to coast?
Oh gosh, I mean, I think that I really believe in the world that we're living in today too. Whether you're running a business, a brand, a service, I would say always make sure that you hone back in the joy of why you do it. And oftentimes, if you get a chance to work with Clever Creative or any other firm that's helping you raise the bar on your branding and help promoting your business for greater success and growth, I always ask a client, what is your most joyful place in your business? What do you love doing in your business? And don't lose sight of that. Because I think oftentimes as entrepreneurs, myself included, we get caught up. We get caught up in doing a lot of things that we need to do to serve our team, to be generous leaders, to help our clients. But oftentimes we forget the joy. Why did you start that business? Why did Big Weasel create that AOL.com email address?
Big Weasel.
Circa 1985.
Right.
So I think I would say really, don't lose sight of the joy in where you run your business and how you run it. Because I think there's so much opportunity to sit in that moment and really find great vision for growth if you can find that part of that in your life.
Shannon, you are a gem. It's an honor to have you on the show. I really do appreciate you so much. Everybody check out clevercreative.com. That's Clever Creative, CLEVER, creative.com. Shannon, hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for having me. It was a pleasure. Highlight of my day.
Oh,
Thank
perfect.
you.
And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!
Boom. Boom. Boom.
Dad, can I come in?
Sure. Come on in. How's it going?
Well, what are you working on?
I'm handwriting the checks to the employees. I like to do this myself. It's something I take pride in.
Aren't there companies like Paychecks that'll do that for you?
Yes, but I like to write the checks myself. I like to...
Shh, Dad.
What?
Silence your mind and listen to the voice of a weird man. And that weird man is you.
Billy, someday when you get to be my age, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
No, I will not.
Billy, when you get to be my age, payroll processing will be the highlight of your life.
You're sick.
Oh, direct deposits, and state taxes and federal taxes and Medicare. All the deductions are so exciting, Billy. I might do it wrong. I might miss some critical deductions, and I need that kind of adrenaline rush in my life. Billy, I just need a purpose.
Dad, I know you love doing paycheck payroll processing, but I know a dude who works up at QuickBooks that Clay uses who will just do it all for you.
Give me his number now. Give me the digits, Billy.
Dad, calm down. I thought you liked doing the paychecks.
No. Don't put words in my mouth, Billy.
You said it.
I just want the number. Just give me the phone number and I'll call the phone number.
You're so desperate.
I don't really want to call the number, but just give me the phone number.
You're begging.
Pretty close to now.
Dad, bro, I will get you the number sometime this week. Calm down.
Billy.
What?
You listen here. If you don't give me the phone number right now, you're grounded forever.
I'm 27, Dad, bro.
That's true.
You can't cut off my allowance and ground me in the same week.
I can't.
Calm down.
Give me the number.
Dad.
Come on. Billy?
You said you didn't want it.
Billy, give me the number.
You said you didn't want it.
Give me the number.
Just admit it. Just say you want it.
No.
You do not want to do the payroll. Just admit
No,
it.
I will never.
Admit it.
Okay, fine. I don't want to do the payroll, though. Give me the number.
It's in my phone.
Give it to me now.
I'm looking.
I want my time freedom back. I want someone else to process the payroll for me. Please, give me the number.
I will give you the phone number, but you will restore my allowance, and henceforth, you will refer to me as the Golden Baby.
Fine. Golden Baby, what's the number for paychecks? So that
Go on.
I can pay someone to handle the paycheck processing and
I'm finding it now.
deposit payments and payroll taxes and quarterly taxes.
Okay.
Annual taxes and W-2s. What's the number? Who should I call?
Well, the number you're gonna call is call Jason Rush.
Jason Rush.
With paychecks, and his phone number is 918
918
809
809
2539.
2539
918
918
809
809
2539.
39.
Yes.
Billy, that number's an Oklahoma area code. I'm not located in Oklahoma. What's the number for me?
Calm down. He works in every state. Just give him a call or send him a text. His number's 918
918
809
okay.
2539.
39.
Again, it's 918 809 2539.
Billy, I appreciate you for
Okay.
giving me the number. I want you to know I've been a poor father, and I've spent probably 8 hours a week for the last 52 weeks per year.
That's just math.
400 hours a week plus, neglecting you to do these paychecks. And now
That's true, but don't feel bad about it.
I want to tell you I'm sorry. I've wasted my time processing payroll when I could have been hanging out with you. But
No problem, Dad. Just, higher paychecks.
perhaps you can forgive me, Billy.
I forgive you, Dad, but, it's like, maybe you should just call paychecks and delegate, so someone else can spend time processing paychecks while you and I could do parachuting out of a plane
No, Billy.
together, father and son, taking over the world.
Billy, we're not ever going to skydive together, but I'll hire paychecks and get my time back. I appreciate the referral.
Oh, Billy.